Good morning, everyone. We are live today with our webinar on integrating Shopify your 3PL with NetSuite, and we're doing this together with Celigo, Novutech and Celigo. We'll give everybody a minute to join this webinar. So while we wait, maybe sort of a quick one for you all. If you want to answer it, you can use the comments. But which part of your sort of order to cash flow tends to be the most manual work? You know, is it the importing the orders into your ERP system, into NetSuite? Is it maybe more the fulfillment part of it? Is it maybe returns? Is it the actual, the settlements and the cash application? Feel free to sort of put it down in the comments what your sort of most manual process is basically. In the meantime, we have some people joining, which is great, everyone. Maybe I'll take some time as well to start introducing my colleagues as well and co-hosts on this one. So today we have with us Jeremy from Novutech and Tal from Celigo that are joining us for this interesting webinar, and myself, Brett, as well from Novutech.
Hey everyone. Good to meet you. Thanks for having me, Brett. Thanks for having me, Jeremy.
So in the meantime, I can see that there's some more people join as well, which is great. So I think we're almost getting ready to actually kick off this webinar. We can maybe already start looking ahead at the agenda of today of what we actually will be discussing. So of course, the first we're doing now a bit of a welcome introduction. Then afterwards, we're going to leave the word to Tal to do a bit of a Celigo introduction and talk about the integration platform. And then we have our use case, where we'll look at the use case that we're going to present today in the demo on Shopify and the 3PL. And then finally, we will, of course, the most important part of this webinar probably is a bit of a demo of how we would run an integration like this one. And with the remaining time, we have also a Q&A where you can still ask some questions. Put the questions in the comments chat, and we will try to either answer them during the call or we'll take the time afterwards in the Q&A. So I think we have some more people joined, which is great. So I think we can start this one off. So I will first of all leave the word to my colleague Jeremy, who will give you a little bit of introduction on Novutech, who we are, a little bit of our history, and take you through a little bit of what we do at Novutech.
So hello everyone. Quick introduction about Novutech and a bit what we do. So Novutech was created like almost 7 years ago now by two NetSuite consultants. So I guess NetSuite is really the focus of Novutech, and we started by consulting customers only on NetSuite. Then I think we have like increased the options that we offer to customers. Maybe quickly, we have more than 150 customers that we are serving on a yearly basis. Some on NetSuite, some on the implementation, optimization support. I guess we like to stay along with our customers and keep us in the loop when they have new projects. I guess one big focus of the company as well is to have people certified. We have like a lot of people certified on NetSuite, but not only. We have people certified on project management, on Workato, Celigo, which are two integration platforms that we are working with. So I guess for us, it's really important to be on top of the knowledge of the tool that we are using and providing to our customers. I guess Novutech is a bit across Europe, so we have presence almost everywhere in Europe. We have 6 fixed offices. 2 in France, 1 in Brussels, 1 in Denmark, 1 in the Netherlands, 1 in Munich. We are opening soon a new office in Spain. We have as well people a bit working remotely from some countries. So we have people in Eastern Europe, in Czech Republic. We have people in Portugal, in Spain, in the UK. So I guess we have people a bit across Europe, and it's important for us to have like that presence in Europe to make sure that we can help customers the best way possible based on their requirements. And a bit the offering of Novutech has a bit like been extended in the last few years. And if I go through each one of them, I guess the first one. So we want to be able to provide like general health check for customers with the digital and value office business unit led by Marta. I guess we do like full assessments of the system of customers, recommendations. We can help them like empower the tools that they are already using and give them advice on what should be the next tool as well. Like I said, NetSuite is still our main focus. We do a lot of implementation. We do a lot of optimization projects. We still supporting the customer that we had in the past. So we have as well Novupacks that we can share across customers. So we have a good offering around NetSuite, and it will remain. We have as well like some sort of ecosystem around NetSuite with tools that we feel that are a good fit with NetSuite. We have Mbat, which for treasury. We have Payroll for AP process. We have Upflow for dunning, and of course we have Invopop now that is the partner that we are working with for e-invoicing. We have as well a lot of we have a task force around the order to cash solutions, which can be a lot of different tools that they've been using in the past, especially I guess Salesforce CPQ, Suite Billing, Zone Billing. I guess we have done that as well, which is a good link to the next one for the integration automation, because I guess with all these tools we do a lot of integrations. Using Celigo, using Workato, doing like end-to-end integrations. So the integration automation business unit is like very wide. We do a lot of different things. One of them will be presented today by Brecht. So we do as well integration, but we do as well a lot of optimizations in NetSuite and connect NetSuite to other systems within NetSuite. We have built as well suite apps in the past for customers. So I guess we have a good offering there as well. And the last one is the AI. So we are using Dust internally, and we have someone dedicated to that, which is Thomas. And he's really like a lot of knowledge and can share. So we have that offering as well to coach people how to use AI. How to use Dust and optimize it for the internal use, and as well we do MCP services by connecting AI to different servers.
Right.
And I let the floor now to Tal to talk about a bit of Celigo.
Thank you, Jeremy. Indeed, we have Tal that will be taking us through a bit of the Celigo platform.
Sure. So thanks, Jeremy. Thanks, Brecht. My name is Tal. I lead partnerships for Europe and the Nordics and the Middle East at Celigo. First, Brecht, can you move to the next slide? I think this one's not too interesting. So just a little bit about us. First, Celigo is over 12 years old. We're today probably one of the leading companies for integration and automation. This is not us saying that. This is essentially Gartner and G2 Crowd saying that. And specifically in the NetSuite ecosystem, we are today the largest provider of integration solutions, with 1 out of 4 NetSuite clients on an average day using our platform and our solutions in order to connect NetSuite with pretty much any system, from 3PLs and Shopify to Amazon and trade partners like Ball or Tesco, to data warehouses, to customer data platforms, and anything in between. We work with over 6,000 customers worldwide, ranging from retailers, software vendors, services, banks, anything in between. And we process billions of records daily for our customers. On the last Black Friday, Cyber Monday, I think we processed over 200 billion records during one day, and about a 5% of all of Shopify through our platform. So pretty robust. I think a nice thing you can say about the platform, a lot of nice things you can say, is that we were initially designed for the mid-market, even though today we work also with enterprise, but we were initially designed for the mid-market and for small IT teams, so that you don't necessarily have to be a PhD in integrations. I think anyone with a little bit of capabilities can learn the platform, start using it, and start working on integrations. And when we work with Jeremy, Brecht, and other partners, a lot of the times they set up the initial setup, but then hand off, at least in part, for the clients to manage integrations if they need to add fields or anything like that. Brecht, can you move to the next slide? So just a little bit of accolades, like I said. So we're the #1 iPaaS integration platform on G2 Crowd. This is based on over 500 customer reviews, unsolicited, that just based on their own experience with the platform, so it produces a great ROI for them, makes life easy for them. We were the only leader on Gartner's Voice of the Customer report in 2025, and we are considered a visionary on the Magic Quadrant based on how Gartner sees the market going and the way we use AI and implement a lot of features and capabilities to support our customers. Next slide. Again, we're great, we're very good, people love us, and NetSuite likes us. We were Partner of the Year. Let's move ahead. I think that's not so interesting for people. These are some of the common integrations that customers use us for. So essentially, maybe I'll take a step back and explain what is an integration platform. So as companies grow, the number of systems that they adopt start growing as well, to support all sorts of processes, from marketing to sales to logistics and customer analytics. And, you need, at some point, connecting everything ad hoc becomes non-sustainable, right? And that's when larger customers or larger companies, usually over 20 million in revenue, start looking for a central hub to which they can build, manage, deploy, and upkeep integrations. And that's essentially what Celigo is. So we're that central hub. People use us to connect their marketplaces, their POS systems, their storefronts. A lot of the times, if they have multiple storefronts, not just Shopify, they can do that, to connect to marketplaces, trade partners, CRM systems, delivery partners, return services, customer service. And with NetSuite specifically, we help turn NetSuite into the central hub of knowledge, the one source of truth for the organization, by streaming data from and to NetSuite from all of the different systems. Next slide. All right. So in terms of integrations to Shopify and NetSuite, there's lots of different ways you can go about it, right? So you don't necessarily have to have an integration platform. One way to go about it is just to custom code something, which is possible. You can use SuiteScript, Restlets, or SuiteTalk in order to build your own custom integration. That's usually a very good solution if you're super advanced with your IT team. They have a lot of time on their hands and they can maintain it. And if you have a super customized situation where you need to build something completely bespoke, it's, like I said, it's advisable only if you have a very big IT team that is dedicated to this and has the time to maintain it. Probably also not sustainable in the long term. The other option is to use one of the connectors that are available on the Shopify store or on NetSuite, which are also good for very simple use cases. So if all you need is just to stream data about your order to NetSuite and have that data stored in NetSuite, that's fine. That will serve you well. However, the moment that you need to start doing something a little more complex, like having custom fields, having business logic, like routing your order to different shops or different 3PLs, that's when that integration will not be able to support you anymore, because this is essentially just a black box that was designed to support the most common use cases. Once you move away from that and you need to stream orders to 3PLs and multiple different 3PLs, You want to get different shipping prices from different providers. You want to check inventory on the fly during the order process and update that into NetSuite. You want to stream order also from other places into NetSuite. That's when you need an integration platform or a solution that allows you more flexibility and has error management built in so that you can automatically resolve any issues with the way the data is structured. And with that, I think I'll hand it over to Brecht to explain more how that looks like in practice. One last thing, the platform has many options. So you can work with just integration apps that are pre-built. You can work with templates that are fully customizable, and the platform is extensible. So you can use it not just for this type of integration, but for pretty much anything.
Thank you, Tal, for that. We actually will indeed talk a little bit about integration apps and integration templates and how they look like and how they're different in our demos. That's you'll see that coming back as well in our actual sort of use case and demo. So today's use case indeed will be about, I guess, Shopify as an e-commerce platform, ShipOp as a 3PL, and then NetSuite as the ERP system, and how we sort of connect these all together, and how we use Celigo, I guess, to build a seamless integration for this use case, basically. If we think about the use case in a sort of more process way, so it's obviously the order to cash process that we're trying to fully integrate in this scenario. So cover all the way to customer sort of transaction lifecycle, I would call it, all the way through from starting at the top from when the customer places the order, all the way through to the end where we're actually going to apply the cash in, against that order. Of course, in the middle, there's loads of different steps where we might need different systems. For example, the order will probably enter in Shopify. The order fulfillment will need to go to a 3PL. They will then deliver it, which will probably need to communicate back to Shopify to let your customer know that your package is on the way. We obviously need to handle the financial parts on invoicing and payment collection. That will be done in NetSuite. So there's a lot of different steps in this order to cash process that will need to be handled. And a lot of them can be integrated so that the manual work can be heavily reduced. And we'll see that as well in the demo later on. When we look at Shopify and integrating Shopify and NetSuite, Celigo has a great, I guess, integration app already built. With what an integration app is really something that it's a comprehensive flow that is out of the box, that has loads of different flows in there. It has already a lot of embedded sort of business logic in there. The idea is that it's an app that you can install. You do have to configure a little bit, set it up to your liking, but once that is done, it's a low maintenance, something that you can really maintain yourself, or your sort of IT administrator can sort of maintain it. And it's, I guess, the great thing with this one, of course, it's fully managed by Celigo. So if there's any updates to the Shopify API or the NetSuite API, they will go ahead and actually make these updates and send you new releases on these ones. Which is great to have. So it means that this app is not so static, but really dynamic, and it really will sort of evolve. And it's of course the fastest way to really get an integration up and running, because we don't have to start building from a blank canvas. We really start from all these ones, which is slightly different to a template. A template you can also use, but then I guess it's not really maintained, but updates is just a starting point, where this is really something that is a real app that will be maintained by Celigo themselves as well, which is great. So we'll see that as well in our demo parts. So without further ado, let's go into the demo part of this webinar, which probably is the one that you guys came here for this to join this webinar. I will not straight away dive into Celigo, because that's not what we would do either in a normal sort of integration that we would do at Novutech. We sort of have an integration delivery methodology, and I think a very first important step before we would actually dive into building and setting up the flows in Celigo would be really a discovery and a design phase, where we really look at your requirements, gather them all, make sure that we understand your business, make sure that we understand what applications that you use for your different sort of 3PLs, e-commerce, make sure that we have that sort of thing, build a bit of an architecture around that, and make sure that we know which applications are there, and also make sure that we decide the correct delivery approach. Is the iPaaS the right source? Is it maybe better to have an integration app that can do it? Or is it maybe better just a direct connection, a direct integration? When does it make sense? When does it not make sense? Or if it's a NetSuite integration, should we better do something with SuiteScript that is more customizable? So it's really making sure that we really have the right tools. And in that phase as well, I think it's important what Tal also said is when you do have an iPaaS platform, that you really can also enable your users, because we're going to be there to help you building these flows, setting them up. But the idea as well that you as an IT administrator should be able to also have access to the iPaaS platform. We don't expect you to be a Celigo expert, but being able to log into it, look at the errors, review them, assign them. You'll see that in the demo as well. I think it's a very important step on that one. So in that discovery and design, what we typically sort of will come up with as well is sort of a full flow, I guess, mapped out with your different applications. So you can see in this slide, we have a sort of Shopify and 3PL fulfillment flow, where we can see we have Shopify in the center as sort of the key application where all the orders will come in. We here opted for ShipOp to connect it with the ShipOp native integration to Shopify. So this is a decision, and you see that in the demo as well, why we sort of decided to use the ShipOp native integration to handle fulfillment requests, handle shipment, and be able to send shipment information back to Shopify. But then Celigo, of course, we chose for the Shopify and NetSuite integration. We used the integration app for that one, which you will see. And then for ShipOp to NetSuite, we've also opted for Celigo, but there we used a sort of a custom integration. So Celigo has a connector to ShipOp. It hasn't got an integration app, which is obviously not an issue. We can create a simple sort of integration from ShipOp to NetSuite to be able to also have these item fulfillments and have everything there, all the information that's in ShipOp. So typically you get sort of a design flow. One of the design documents will be something like this that is very clear on what we're trying to integrate, what type of records, and so on and so forth. Of course, we will then start making a bit more details on the mappings and everything that we do on these different records we're trying to integrate. Another thing we will do as well, we will actually evaluate if an integration app fits for you, yes or no. This is an example that we've done for an Amazon integration app. So here the customer had some specific requirements. So I think they had 10 requirements that they said, look, this is what the Amazon integration really needs to be able to do. So we sort of taken the time as well to see these requirements, do they actually fit with the Celigo Amazon integration app. And you can see here that 5 of them they meet, 3 of them meet with some config, and 2 of them actually need to be probably discussed and see if it actually fits. So we want to make sure as well that if you look at an example here, okay, the overall architecture, that one was one that fully meet based on the requirements, so we can really see that this is fine. There might be some add-ons that we need to install based on the requirements. So we can really see, I guess, does the requirement meet the integration app? And I think based on what we're basing ourselves on here is really the Celigo documentation. So every integration app has a whole library set of integration of what the app does, also with some flows. Like this is the Amazon, for example, integration app, which the different flows, the different sort of use cases, and all the different integration flows that are supported as well within this one. So Celigo has great documentation on these sort of pre-built data flows. It really helps you as well understand what do they do, what can they do, and as a partner as well, it helps us to understand a little bit as well how does the requirements meet your integration app before we actually dive into it, so that we actually are sure before we actually start setting it up that it actually will meet your actual requirements. So without further ado, let's go back to of course, in the next phase in here in that methodology is actually the build and configure. So this is really where we're going to go and set up the flows or the integration app in Celigo. So let's have a look at that now, how that looks like, and do some integration testing as well, so you can sort of see that all in action live, basically. So we have here our Celigo environment. Maybe I'll start with just to show you as well, one of the integration apps, when you first install it, it's a very sort of simple, what I would call wizard, to really start setting up that integration app, where you connect to your NetSuite, connect to Shopify. You might need to install a bundle in NetSuite. If you're familiar with NetSuite, it's just an extra sort of set of tools that you can install with it, and off you go. You basically, the integration app is done. I won't go through it, all these steps. That will take probably too much time. So I've already done all this one in here. So I've already set up this Shopify and NetSuite integration app. And what you will see if I go to this integration app it basically comes packed with different flows in there. So you can see on the left side, I see all my different sort of type of categories of flows. I think the most important ones that we'll be looking at today will be the order flows. And you can see, again, there's plenty of them that have been already sort of configured. And what they do with integration apps, they will create different flows for different scenarios. You might want to integrate them differently, and based on that, you can basically decide which flows that your company needs. So part of that design will also help you to determine which flows you would actually need in your integration case, and which ones we would turn on and which ones we don't need, and we basically will leave off in that scenario as well. These flows, again, they come pre-configured, which is great. If I would go to one of these flows, for example, here, this is to, let's have a look maybe at the customer one. So this will basically sync a Shopify customer to a NetSuite customer. If I go into that one, you can see everything is already configured. We didn't have to do anything with this one. But what we can do with integration apps, we can still have a look at what the mapping looks like, of course. This little icon, so basically this is getting the customer, and this is the step where we're actually posting. So we create the customer in NetSuite. I can see it's an import, and I can see there's already the mapping is already set up for me. So what is the mapping? The mapping is really what it says. It really tells us what Shopify data will be synced to what NetSuite data. And you can see it's already pre-configured by the installation with the integration app. We didn't have to do this, but you can still add things, change things. If there's certain things that you want to do. An example here would be is that if I know that in NetSuite there's a field on the customer called comments, maybe I want to have some comments, and I know that in Shopify there's also something called a note that is there. So if I want to add a new mapping in here, I can perfectly do that. I just add it in here as an extra mapping for me. I added a note and comment. I can click on preview as well to have a look at that. If I'm a bit more technical, I can see what the input is and how that sort of basically outputs to NetSuite. So that will basically show me a little bit what the result is, I guess, of the mapping that I've put down here. So there you go. You can see what it will populate down there. And if I'm happy with that, I click on save and close, and that will actually close the mapping. So it's not because it's an integration app that everything is locked and everything is done. You can see you can still change things, add things to it. So it's still quite flexible in what you can and actually can't do with it, which is great. The hardest question is always like, how do you actually demo an integration, of course? So I guess here we really want to show you how it sort of also end-to-end looks a little bit. So we have actually set up a bit of a web shop. So this is a Shopify web shop. So if Novutech would not be into consulting, we would probably be selling snowboards. So this is Novutech, a company that sells snowboards online. So let's have a look. Let's actually make an order on this web shop. So I'll go to the this collection, Snowboard Hydrogen. Looks quite interesting, and I'm feeling quite optimistic today. So I'm gonna look. I'm gonna buy it now. Happy to go ahead with it. I'm a returning customer, so everybody knows all my details, which is great. Everything is down there. So this web shop as well, because it's the test web shop, it also gives me the option to pay by bank deposits, which is makes it easy for us to actually not having to fill out all the payment details. And if I'm ready, I can go ahead and click on complete my order, which I get my order confirmation. Great, and I can wait when this can't wait when the snowboard actually shows up at my doorstep. What we can see now as well when we go back into Celigo, because we selected the real-time flow, if I go to my dashboard of flows, you can see that it straight away picked up, because this is a real-time flow, it straight away picked up the fact that there's a new order, and it's starting to sync it straight to my NetSuite account, which is obviously great. That's in progress. We don't have to obviously sit here and wait for it. It will do its thing. What I wanted to show as well here while this is syncing is that now, of course, in my backend as well, I can see that. So this is the backend. If you're a little bit familiar with Shopify, you will know the backend. So you can see today we have a new order that is, of course, the payment is pending because it was with a bank deposit. So that has all been registered, which is great. An option here is, I guess, what we've done in our Shopify account is we've connected it with ShipBob directly. So Shopify does have a whole sort of app store where you can actually go ahead and connect apps. We decided to connect our ShipBob account. So ShipBob is a 3PL that can ship goods for you in different locations and different sort of countries. And the great thing with using one of these apps and why we chose it is that you can really see that it's embedded in there. I don't need access to ShipUp to be able to see these things. They've already built like a little dashboard here. Okay, there's no shipments here for today, of course, but you can see everything, all the information is there. I can open ShipUp if I want to, but maybe as I'm a Shopify user, I have enough with this high level sort of information. And the other great thing is with these sort of ShipUp, with this app sort of that are integrated, is that I can create a view, for example, where I can see all the paid orders that are currently unfulfilled and that need to be shipped via my 3PL, via ShipUp. And I can use this as a tool as well. So if I go, for example, to this order 1003, I can see the location that it's going to go out to ShipUp. I can actually request the fulfillment straight away from Shopify. So again, I don't need to have access to ShipUp. I can all do this directly from Shopify because it's all been connected. I don't need access to NetSuite either to request the fulfillment. I can do it all from within Shopify. So if we see that depending on your sort of situation, your workflow, it might make sense to actually have a native integration app that you might do. This is a ShipUp. There's a lot of other apps out there as well for 3PL and delivery, but I can easily say like, okay, go ahead and request me that fulfillment. I can add some notes to that one as well if I want to. Otherwise, I can send my fulfillment request, and that will go ahead. And now the fulfillment is requested in ShipUp, and I can see that nicely in the timeline as well. That is now been requested to ShipUp to ship these goods to the thing. So what that really done for that one, if I look at if I go back to my orders, there was another order 1002 that you can see is also fulfillment requested and in progress. If I go into ShipUp, so ShipUp, this is sort of the dashboard that the person that would do the fulfillment would see. If I go to my orders, you will see that the orders there, that order 1002 that we've seen earlier, will also sit here and here too. So we seem to have an issue on our ShipUp one way, haven't paid our bills, or the payment has been declined, so they're not wanting to ship it, which again, it's not an issue on this demo. We just want to make sure that you understand that the same order, I guess, comes here in as a shipment request that will need to be sent to it. And again, when that sort of is sent, that information will nicely flow back into Shopify again, and you will see that an email will get sent out with the tracking details and everything in there. So it's a native integration. It really works for these scenarios. Sometimes it's better to use an actual app rather than using Celigo, because it might work better in your sort of flow that we have in there. When we have a look back at Celigo, we can see now running flows. There's no more running flows, so that must mean, of course, that the flow has been completed. So I can see indeed that it probably has completed the flow. So if we go back into our orders, we know it was order 1007. So let's have a look now in NetSuite. If we update our little order flow down here for the Shopify sales orders, I can see indeed that order number 1007 nicely came in here, and I can view that as well in NetSuite. So that came in as a sales order, which is great. I haven't really, of course, like I said, it happened automatically. So you can see that it came in with the right items, the right order number as well of Shopify. So everything is there, and the sales order is ready in NetSuite to be able to be administered as well. There's obviously a lot of, besides these flows that I can update, like you've seen earlier, there's obviously also things that I can change in settings wise. So these integration apps, they come loaded with lots of different settings and preferences. Again, nice to explain as well in all the help documentation, which basically means is that you can decide how, for example, your shipping methods are linked between NetSuite and ShipUp. It could be how you want to deal with discounts, with discount items, or how you kind of want to deal with them. Loads of different ones in different categories. Another one I can show as well is, for example, the order one. So I've decided that I just want to sync all my Shopify orders directly to NetSuite. It might be that you only want to do it when they're shipped. You might only want to do it when they are actually authorized. So it's depending again on your sort of design and how your sort of order to cash process works, that you can basically decide and change these sort of different statuses in here. Another nice feature that I guess it gives you is that you can actually sync on-demand orders as well. Great for testing. So maybe let's just do that as well while we're here. So let's say that I want to sync this 1002 again. Only thing I need is take the ID of the order, which I can find easily in my URL. I can copy that one, go back to my integration app. I say I want to sync this one, and if I go ahead and save this one, what we will see is that if I would go back to my dashboard, that will have triggered the on-demand flow that actually will start syncing in the order on demand. Let's let it run for a while, and we'll come back to that in a second again. What I also want to show is the other side of things. So this was an integration app. We also have an actual integration that we've built custom. You can see from a look and feel, it looks the same. We can create these different categories. This is only shipments, and we create different flows. We can also create custom settings. This is also the same if we want to have, for example, an item form that we want to set, or we want to set the location somewhere in the preference. So these are all preferences that we can create, maintain, and it's easy for any sort of administrator, I guess, of Celigo to maintain them without having to go into the code or into the flows. They can easily manage these settings themselves. If we look at one of these flows, for example, let's have a look at this flow. What this flow does is it gets all the shipped orders from ShipBob. So this is what we call a scheduled flow. So it will probably run every 10 minutes, half an hour, whatever your preference is. It will get sort of a delta, so you get only the new ones, of course. And here the requirement was that first the sales order need to be updated. So we go and find and look for the sales order, and then we actually create the item fulfillment for that one. What I also wanted to show in here, I guess, because this is a flow we build ourselves, we can also put this, what it currently is in, it's in test mode, which is great, because we can, like you've seen earlier, look at the mapping and preview it. The testing mode goes a little bit further as well, where we can really go ahead and say, look, I want to do a test of this flow. It won't actually create any records, but it will actually simulate the flow. So it will go ahead and it will check any shipped orders in ShipBob. It will go ahead and try to update the sales order, make sure the mappings are actually working. And it will do the same thing. It will try to create the item fulfillment, but it won't actually save it. So it's a great way to really test your flow as for us, I guess, as a builder, but maybe also for you as a customer. If you have some flows that we're testing and you want to make sure that we test them correctly, you can go into test mode, and you can see now we have all these little test flags in there. So this flow actually completed correctly with the durations. And I can go ahead and see, for example, when we go into this mapping, I can see that there was a test run. I can see what data it actually used as the input, and again, what I actually done as the output. So I can nicely see that this was a success. There was one record apparently that it only needed to export, and the same thing for the item fulfillment. It tried to create one record, one item fulfillment with success, and this is sort of the output it basically sent to NetSuite, and with all the packaging, all the tracking numbers in there. So all of that looks great and in there. So if I'm happy with this flow and with this test result, I can actually go ahead and enable this flow into a production mode. So you can see now the test mode is gone. So now I actually know that I can either trigger it, I can run it on demand and click on run now, or I can, of course, schedule it and put it on a schedule with some easily frequencies. It could be once weekly, once daily, every 30 minutes, every 50 minutes even. So that's all depending on how you want to schedule these flows as well in there. While we're have that one, my assumption would be is that the other flow has finished, and I can see there was actually an error on here. So it's a great way as well. So I like to actually double error, so you can also see them, because that's what we always say on an integration platform. You actually can easily manage these errors and view them. So let's say that I'm a system administrator, and I've got a notification of it, or I go into my dashboard and I can see there's an error. If I click on the error, I can see again easily in which I guess section or which flow it actually happened. So it's obviously happened in the order flow, and I can see indeed our on-demand flow that we triggered earlier has now gotten an error. So if I click on the error, I can see here that indeed, so the export, so that first step worked fine, it was a success, but when I was trying to import the order, there was an error that occurred. So that error was there. If I click on the error, I can actually see the details of that. So okay, here it tells me that it's unable to create a NetSuite order because the order has already been imported. So I can see it's a clear code of duplicate. So it basically obviously means that because I've just manually on-demand synced it, it was already synced in the past, so it doesn't really want to sync it. A few options there that we can do. Of course, we can try and say we can retry it. we can go ahead and retry it. I know that this one won't actually work if I retry it, because it will give me the same error because the order is there. I could also go ahead and, of course, delete the order. If this was a test order, I can go and delete the order and then click retry. These are all options I could do. But what I also want to show is that I can also easily assign errors. So let's say that this is not really my problem. This is somebody else in my team that needs to work on that one. I can assign this to my colleague Jeremy, where he will get a notification that now a new error has been assigned to him, and he'll be able to see this error and have a look into it. He might decide that it's a mapping issue and change some mappings. He might decide that it's indeed an error that is a true error, and we don't actually want to do anything with it. So what he can also do is go ahead and say, I want to resolve it. He can even retry it, but changing the data in here. So he can even edit the retry data. So if he says like, oh no, the order ID is incorrect, for example, he could change that one and basically retry it to see if it still would sync afterwards. So it's a great way to really manage these errors, tag them with certain tags, assign them to people. And in the end, of course, in here, we know this is a duplicate. I guess I synced this from a demo perspective, but we didn't really want to sync this. So I could click on resolve, which basically means that, we're not retrying it. We're just knowing that it was a resolution and nothing needed to happen. So I've resolved the error, and you can see now there is no more errors on there, and it's all back to green, which is great. But these errors, as I said, you can set up notifications that you can notify it for certain flow errors. You can even get notification when the connection goes down, which I guess is important if there would be connection issues. So there's lots of ways that you can deal with these errors, and they're all nicely, I guess, visible in your little dashboard that you have down here. So this sort of wraps up, I think, our demo that we had. So we sort of wanted to show you a little bit on the platform itself as well. If we look at again back our integration methodology, of course we'll do a lot more testing. So this was just some simple. I guess we would do some testing when building the flows. We'll help you as well to really do some UAT testing together with you to make sure that the end-to-end validations are all working well before we then, of course, go over into our go live support, where we really help you to put everything into a production and really support you further and try to scale as well these integrations with your business that might grow as well. So we have, I think at the moment, there's no specific questions that we had that we'll be answering in this Q&A. If there are any questions, please do put them. Feel free to put them in the email, into the comment sections. But there is nothing really there to answers. You can obviously contact us. So feel free. This was just sort of a warming up to sort of show you what we do, how we do it, how we approach these integrations. But if you do have questions, please reach out to Jeremy and myself. Visit our Novutech website. It's had recently a bit of a new branding and a new release, so make sure you check that one out and have a look at our different offerings, and mainly, of course, our integration offering. And if you're interested, if you have a question, if you want to know more, maybe you want to see a demo on Amazon, you want to do something else, please feel free to reach out, and we'll be more than happy to actually help you with all these needs. I would like to also thank my co-hosts as well, Tal and Jeremy, for this webinar. Thank you guys for joining. This was great, and I hope you guys all enjoyed it. And I can't wait to see you on the next webinar.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, bye.